Let me make a strange confession. It both amuses me and deeply saddens me how seriously people take life. Look around for a moment. Everyone is deadly serious. We behave as if being born were some kind of cosmic job interview. We line up, polish our resumes, good person, responsible citizen, successful professional. And then we wait for death as if it were a promotion ceremony. In that final moment, this thought appears. Was my performance good enough? Will I be accepted into heaven? But what if we're asking the wrong question? What if life is not an exam at all, but a game? A game with no winners and no losers, only players. And maybe the point is not how well you play, but whether you notice you're playing. Maybe we're all standing on the same stage. We memorize our lines, we put on our costumes, we walk out into the lights, but nobody notices one simple fact. There is no audience. So all this seriousness, who are we performing for? Who are we trying so hard to prove our importance to? Is the universe giving us a scorecard, or are we just marking each other down? Maybe this is where the real madness begins, taking life deadly seriously. A vast universe, trillions of stars, billions of galaxies, and you're still thinking, I need one more achievement on my CV. I imagine God laughing gently and saying, tell me, my friend, where exactly in the universe should I file that promotion of yours? And now, I have an invitation for you. Pause. Just for a moment, ask yourself, am I really living, or am I just playing my role well? If that question tickles you a little, if it bothers you just enough to feel it, the game has already begun. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine a family dinner. The father, in the role of head of the family, shoulders straight, voice firm, serious but fragile. The mother, the selfless heroine, filling everyone's plate, silently swallowing her own pain. The teenager, the rebel character man, buried in their phone, a professional eye roller. The little one, the innocent, I'm but kicking people under the table with perfect precision. Do you see it? Each one is playing a part, but no one realizes it's a part. The tragedy of the play is this. Everyone believes their role so completely that the role disappears. They're no longer playing the part, they've become it. And that is the most dangerous prison of all, the one you don't even know you're in. Recently, I ran into an old friend I hadn't seen in 20 years. How are you? I asked. Great, he said. His jaw trembled as he smiled. Great, he repeated, as if saying it enough times might make it true. In that moment, I understood. The more someone insists, I'm fine, the worse they usually are. But that's not the real issue. The real question is, why does everyone feel forced to be fine all the time? Who wrote that script? Who told us we must look happy? Ah, yes. No one actually said it. But everyone acted as if someone had. And that's how the play began. Open social media for just one day. Millions of people directing their own reality show. Filtered happiness, sponsored joy, manufactured meaningful moments. Everyone is the star of their own series, and the lines are almost identical. So grateful, so blessed, new beginnings. But the muscles in their faces are saying something else. Look at me, I swear I'm really living. Please believe me. As if life were a crime that must be constantly proved. And behind all this desperate, I'm doing great energy, there's a huge silence. In that silence, one question echoes. Am I truly happy, or just playing my part correctly? Stop. Even now, reading this, maybe you're smiling a little while feeling a small sting inside. That sting is the first light slipping under the mask, and that light is where freedom begins. The other day, I was sitting in the lobby of a luxury hotel. Business people walking back and forth, each behaving as if they were the center of their own universe. They were all wearing different versions of the same costume, gray suit, dark watch, serious face. Even their phone calls sounded like a choir. Yes, I'm handling it. Everything's under control, no problem. At one point I laughed to myself. They were all playing the same game, the important person. The man who sat next to me was no different. Expensive suit, strong cologne, confidence on the surface. But in his eyes there was something no brand could hide. fear. "How's work?" I asked. "Perfect," he said. "The company is growing, profits are up, everything is under control." Then he turned to me and asked, "And you, how are you?" He stopped, as if he were hearing that question for the first time. Then, avoiding my eyes, he whispered, "I don't know." And that's where another curtain falls. Those who play their roles the best are often the ones who lose themselves the most, because the more perfect the role becomes, the deeper the emptiness grows. The stage is full of applause, but backstage the only sound is exhaustion. Everyone thinks the applause will save them, but applause is only noise that delays the silence. So why? Why do we cling so tightly to roles, masks, titles? Because the alternative is terrifying. Who am I? To be alone with that question is like walking alone through a dark forest at night. A role is a flashlight. An identity is a map. But that map does not lead you to freedom. It just leads you back to your cage. One night, after everyone has gone to bed, you look in the mirror. There's a tired smile on your face and a quiet question inside. If I take all of this off, what's left? You're so afraid of the answer that the next morning you wear your costume even tighter. More coffee, more success, more approval, anything not to hear the word emptiness. But the emptiness waits. The more you try to fill it, the more it expands, because that emptiness isn't a lack, it's space. Space opened up for your real self. And one day, when you finally look that silence in the eye, you remember who you really are for the first time. A therapist friend of mine listens 8 hours a day to people complaining about their roles. My spouse doesn't understand me. My kids don't listen. My boss doesn't appreciate me. The stories are different, but the theme is the same. I'm not getting what I deserve. One day I asked her, "Does anyone ever say, 'I'm tired of all these roles'?" She laughed. "No," she said. "They just want better roles, Oscar-worthy suffering, more prestigious victimhood." In that moment I realized people don't really want freedom. They just want more comfortable cages. Because a cage is familiar, you know its boundaries. You know who to blame, where to cry, how happy you're allowed to be. A cage lets you schedule your pain. But freedom throws you into the wind of uncertainty. Every morning, it asks you to choose who you are again. And for most people, that is unbearable. That's why we love routines. Morning coffee, the same news channel, the same spot on the couch, the same series, the same weekend plan. This pattern gives us the illusion of control. But late at night, when everyone is asleep, you start to suffocate inside that pattern. You realize this isn't control, it's comfort chained to habit. To decide to be free is to grieve your own routines, and grief hurts. So most people choose their familiar chains over freedom. They choose a shiny handcuff over an unknown sky. But listen, if you've come this far, something inside you must be moving. There's a voice whispering, "What if I've been decorating my cage?" And exactly in that moment, freedom begins. The door of the cage doesn't swing wide open yet, but for the first time, you notice where it is. Let me tell you the big secret. You don't have to play this game. Yes, you heard me. You can opt out. You can forget your lines. You can take off your costume. You can even walk off stage. But here's the trap. When you step off the stage, everyone warns you. What are you doing? You're part of this show. These are the rules. You can't live like that. And you realize they're only talking like this because they believe the play is real. Your freedom is a threat echoing through their prison, because once someone has seen behind the curtain, they can't cooperate with the lie anymore. Imagine you're in a theater at night. The curtain has fallen, the stage is dark, everyone has gone home, you're still there, costume in your hand, standing alone on stage, and for the first time, you breathe without lines. That moment, that quiet, frightening, pure moment, is where reality begins. Reality isn't a glittering concept. It's simple, bare, uncomfortable. but inside it is a strange peace. Because from that moment on, you're no longer acting, you're just existing. And existence is odd. No one applauds you, but somehow you don't need applause anymore. So if one day you suddenly say, I don't want to play this role anymore, don't be afraid. It's not a loss, it's a beginning. A quiet opening of a door, and behind that door, no one is waiting for you. There is only you, and finally, that is enough. Let me tell you the final scene. The curtain has closed, the lights are out, the audience is gone. The stage is empty, no script, no music, no applause, only you. And strangely, for the first time, you actually feel real. You sit and listen to the silence, then you realize life was never the exam you thought it was. There is no jury, no director, no prize, no punishment. There is only a stage and the ones who play. The roles you once took deadly seriously now lie on the floor like costumes. Successful person, good child, selfless spouse, all of them quiet. You look at them and you see, none of them define you. You existed before them. You will exist after they're forgotten. That is freedom. Letting go of the lines others wrote for you. Standing naked before the universe and saying, my story is writing itself now. In that moment, something shifts. Fear melts into silence, silence into peace, peace into pure awareness. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to convince anyone. Just being is enough. Maybe then you hear a soft laugh somewhere behind you. It sounds like God's laughter, as if whispering, finally, you saw it. You were never meant to win this game. You were only meant to play it consciously. Close your eyes. Think for a moment. Maybe you wrote this text. Maybe I'm just your inner voice speaking back to you. Maybe this whole play was only for one purpose, so you could remember yourself. And now the final call comes. Not as an order, but as an invitation. Are you ready to step onto your own stage, to dance even when no one is watching, to play this game with full awareness? If your answer is yes, don't close the curtain, because the real show is just beginning. Do you remember the last time you truly took off your mask? Maybe not, because that moment usually arrives quietly, not like an earthquake, but like the ground gently shifting. The world keeps turning, but something inside you stops, something breaks, and through that crack, light slips in. But for me, it was a Tuesday morning, ordinary. Nothing special promised. I was in the elevator on my way to the office. I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger. He was wearing my clothes, my smile was on his face, but it wasn't me. And in that moment, I realized I had been living someone else's life for years. No dramatic music, no holy moment, just silence. And inside that silence, a raw awareness. Whose life am I acting out? Here's the fifth clue. Awakening comes in ordinary moments. Enlightenment doesn't always happen in the Himalayas. Most of the time it happens in line at the supermarket, in a sip of coffee, in a glance, in a mirror. Waking up is the easy part. Staying awake is the real challenge, because the world is designed to put you back to sleep. It whispers, be normal. Everyone does it this way. Don't overthink it. You freeze for a moment, because being normal feels like the safest way to stay invisible. But the real enemy isn't outside, it's inside. Your own mind calls you back to your comfortable prison. Remember how warm it was in there, it says, and you mistake your chains for jewelry. But one morning you declare, I won't act anymore. By noon you're back in the same patterns, because habit is freedom's politest enemy. It doesn't shout, it doesn't break, it just smiles. And without noticing, you put the mask back on. Here's the paradox. You want to be free, but freedom scares you. Because nakedness is vulnerable, and nothing frightens a person more than standing naked in front of their own soul. Pause now. Think for a moment. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and truly recognized the person you saw? Maybe even as you read this, you're adjusting your mask a little. but do you dare to take it off completely? That I once knew a woman, let's call her Elena. For 20 years, she played the perfect wife so well that no one realized it was a performance. Every line was memorized. Her smile was perfectly timed, her laughter carefully measured. Her husband, neighbors, family, everyone said, "What a lucky man he is." But one day, standing center stage, she forgot her lines. She looked at her husband and said, "I can't do this anymore." He frowned. "Do what?" She looked him in the eyes. "Be your wife." And then, maybe for the first time in her life, she heard the echo of her own voice. "I am not your wife," she said. I don't even know who I am." They divorced. Elena left her house, her car, her status. She moved into a small apartment, changed her job, cut her hair short. Many people thought she had collapsed. But when I saw her again one day, there was a light in her face. Not a loud happiness, but a quiet one. It was as if finally she could breathe in her own skin. "Do you regret it?" I asked. She thought for a moment, then smiled. "Every day I regret it," she said. "And every day I choose it again." Here's the sixth clue. Regret is the tax you pay for freedom, but the bill for slavery is much higher. Maybe now you're thinking, but if everyone dropped their roles, society would collapse. Maybe it would, but let me ask you, what's the point of holding up the scenery for a society that's already collapsing inside? Look at the statistics. Depression, anxiety, suicide. Everyone is in the game, but who is really alive? Maybe the problem is not that we're playing a game, it's that we're playing the wrong one. The real game and the fake game. The fake game is trying to impress others. The real game is discovering yourself. The fake game wants to take. The real game wants to understand. The fake game protects your mask. The real game turns you into a mirror. Last week, I ran into an old friend. "You haven't changed at all," he said. I smiled. Maybe I looked the same from the outside, but the old me inside had died long ago. I've died many times and been reborn many times. Each death was the collapse of a mask. Each birth was one step closer to the truth. I looked at him and thought silently, "You're the one who hasn't changed." Same fears, same masks, same play. 20 years gone by, but the lines are still the same. Here's the seventh clue. Not changing is a slow way of dying. At some point, everyone faces this question. If I take off my masks, what's left? The answer is simple and terrifying. Nakedness. But that's not something to fear. It's something to celebrate, because nakedness is the birth of authenticity. Vulnerability is the purest form of strength. Masks don't protect you. They just make you invisible. And living invisible is not really living at all. Now stop. Take a deep breath. Maybe it's time to lower the mask you've been carrying for years. Don't be afraid. The world may not handle your naked face, but at least you will finally meet your own eyes. And if you have any sense of the sacred, you might feel God smiling in that moment too. God's louder. Sometimes I imagine God watching this play. Billions of people, billions of roles, everyone seriously doing their job. Wars starting, markets crashing, love stories beginning, lives ending. And God? Maybe just smiling, like a parent watching a child play house, sad and amused at the same time by how serious it all looks. Maybe he's saying inside, "Look at you all, you're the same thing, the same consciousness, the same breath, the same stage, only the costumes are different." But we can't hear it. The noise of our costumes is too loud, as if the sound of fabric were louder than the sound of the heart. Here's the eighth clue. You are not the costume, you are the one beneath it. One day you suddenly realize most of what you call life is an improvised theater play. The strange part is, nobody remembers their acting. Everyone thinks their role is real. Rule 1, everyone is acting, you too. But here's the difference. If you know you're acting, you're no longer the slave of the play. You're the director. Think of an actor on stage playing Hamlet. He screams, cries, swears revenge. His eyes are wild. Then the curtain falls. He goes home, orders pizza, opens Netflix. He's not Hamlet. He's the one playing Hamlet. That's exactly what we forget. Boss, mother, rebel, religious, leader, victim. These are just roles. But over time, the role starts directing you. And one morning, you look in the mirror, and you don't see the actor. You see the character. That's the moment the role is wearing you. The costume is carrying you. You've become just another line in a script written long ago. Now let me give you a revolutionary idea. Acting is not the problem. The problem is thinking the role is who you are. Look in the mirror in the morning. Whisper to yourself, "Today I'm playing the role of say your name. It's just a role. I'm bigger than this role." And at night, as you lie in bed, say, "Today's performance is over. I'm taking off my costume now. Now I'm just me." It will feel strange at first, but day by day, the weight on your shoulders will get lighter, because you're no longer trying to save your character, you're just remembering yourself. Some people find this awareness dangerous, but if everyone drops their roles, society will fall apart, they say. But think, what's the point of performing on a stage that's already collapsing? Why keep rehearsing in a theater that's already burned down? Real freedom is not leaving the stage. It's recognizing that it is a stage. And when that awareness arrives, it feels like a miracle. Your seriousness begins to dissolve. Your worries soften. The weight of life suddenly feels no heavier than a line in a script. What role are you playing today? And is that role freeing you or holding you? Maybe it's time to look at the stage again, to remember who you are behind the curtain. One day you realize even the words you say are not really yours. Your conversations feel memorized, as if an invisible director were whispering lines into your ear. "I'm fine. Everything's okay. It is what it is. Listen carefully." None of these sentences actually belong to you. Rule 2. Write your own script. Stop repeating the lines others wrote. When someone asks, "How are you?" don't answer automatically. Pause. Take a breath. Be honest. "I'm mixed. Today I'm strong and tired at the same time. I love and I'm scared." Real words come from the torn places of the soul. They sting a little, but that burn is proof of authenticity. People will feel uncomfortable. They'll look at you strangely, because honesty is a threat in a society of masks. But don't worry, some will walk away. You'll think you're alone. You're not. That loneliness is the echo of your own voice. You're returning to yourself. Your real friends are the ones who recognize that echo. They stay, because their masks are cracking too, because their stage is going dark as well. When your eyes meet, you won't need words. Just that look is enough. You too? Yes, me too. And that's how a new tribe begins. The tribe of truth, of silence, of naked souls. Now it's time to rewrite the script. New lines, new roles, new scenes. But this time, not to impress anyone. To hear yourself, to understand yourself, to create yourself. Put aside the lines you've memorized for years. Open a blank page and write, "Today, for the first time, I am telling my own story." Which sentence today was not really yours? How many times did you say, "I'm fine," when you weren't? Think about it. If your own words don't recognize you, maybe it's time to find your own language. Rule 3. Don't break other people's games. Let them sleep a little longer in their own dreams. Some souls are not ready to wake up yet, and that's okay. I used to think, I have to wake people up, drag them into truth. But then I realized, forcing truth on someone is like ripping their eyes open in the dark. The light hurts, and they choose blindness. Maybe you're making the same mistake right now. Maybe you're forcing someone you love to understand. Stop. In trying to light their path, you might be burning up your own flame. To burn yourself while warming others is not heroism, It's a slow suicide. Some people love their sleep. Some rule their dreams as kings. Some have made peace with their nightmares. Your job is not to steal their blanket. It's to keep your own eyes open. If you want to help someone wake up, start with silence. Be like a morning bird. Sing your song, but don't scream, "Wake up." Those who are ready will hear the melody. Those who aren't will call it noise. That's why the desire to be a savior is dangerous. That voice inside you saying, "But I just want to help." Do you know who that often is? Your ego, wearing a mask called goodness. Real help is quiet. Real light is modest. So if you want to help someone wake up, first turn down the noise inside you. Notice your need to be right. Sometimes, while trying to heal others, you're only feeding your own ego. One day, a man said to me, "It's my duty to tell people the truth." I looked at him and smiled. "Truth is not a slap in the face," I said. "It's an invitation. You cannot force anyone's door open, but you can keep your own door open. When they're ready, they'll find you. They'll feel the peace echoing in your silence." "How are you so calm?" they'll ask. That's when you speak. Only then. And remember, the purest way to support someone else's awakening is to stay awake yourself. So whenever you think, "I'm going to save them," ask yourself, or am I still talking in my sleep? Rule 4. Take the game seriously, but don't take yourself seriously, because the universe's most elegant joke is this: life is both deadly serious and hilariously temporary. Think about it. In an infinite universe, on a tiny planet, in a life that lasts maybe a few decades, we put our loan payments, work meetings, and weekend plans at the center of everything. It's a little funny, isn't it? But we try not to laugh, because we're serious people. Maybe the greatest blindness is not seeing the game as a game. When people say life is very important, they're often just afraid, because if they admitted it might not be that important, they fear they might feel pointless too. But remember, just because something is temporary doesn't mean it's meaningless. In fact, it gets its meaning from being temporary. Isn't that what makes a butterfly beautiful? That it exists only for a day? Seriousness is often a mask. We're afraid of being light. Sometimes I think, maybe the deep thinkers are just the ones who forgot how to laugh. Maybe enlightenment is the universe laughing at its own reflection. Once, in a monastery, a young monk asked his master, "Master, what is the meaning of life?" The master smiled. "The same as a snowflake," he said. "A snowflake?" "Yes, it remains for as long as it melts." That's it. The secret of seriousness. Live fully but don't cling. Love but don't possess. Achieve but don't worship your success. Lose but don't collapse. Anyone who takes themselves too seriously eventually looks ridiculous to others. And the irony is this: the moment you release control, when you say, "Fine, whatever happens, happens," life hands you its greatest gifts. Maybe the universe was just waiting for you to relax. Sometimes at night I look at the stars. Each one is millions of years old, but still shining. And I realize nothing in the universe is for nothing. But nothing is mandatory either. So, dance. But dance like you're in a graveyard, with joy and with acceptance. Laugh, but laugh consciously, because laughter is the language of God. Maybe that's the whole thing. Live life like a sacred ceremony, but laugh like a child. Rule 5. There is no such thing as failure, only feedback. But it might take you years to really believe that, because from childhood we were taught a lie. Failure is shameful. In truth, failure is just a road sign, and road signs don't feel shame. Maybe what you call loss is simply a change of direction. I remember a scene in a small theater. An actor forgot his line. He froze on stage. Everyone held their breath. Then he stayed quiet. And in that silence, something happened. Someone in the audience laughed, then another, then everyone. The line was forgotten, but the play had come alive. That night, the audience applauded like crazy. Sometimes mistakes let the stage breathe. Maybe right now, you think you've done a lot of things wrong. But who said what right is? By whose rules are you a failure? The universe's? Or just some small stage we call society, where you were shamed for forgetting a line? Is a person's wrong steps often lead them exactly where they need to be? One door closes, but that door was never meant for you anyway. When you see that, you start to laugh, really laugh, because you realize every fall is another crack in the mask, and light slips through the cracks. Yet we're trained to avoid failing, to never be wrong, never be embarrassed, never make a mistake. But nothing perfect is truly alive. Take a flower and make it plastic so it never dies. It also never smells. Perfection is death. Flaws are proof of life. One day, a student asked his master, "Master, how many mistakes have you made?" The master laughed. "Enough," he said. "Do you regret them?" "No, but sometimes I realize I was very funny." Maybe wisdom is this: when you can laugh at your own mistakes, you no longer feel ashamed of them. Those who learn to laugh at themselves also learn to forgive themselves. Now, take a deep breath. Remember your last failure. That thing that broke you, maybe it was actually remaking you, your loneliness, your rejection, your loss. Look again. Maybe the universe was saying, "Not this way." What if that breaking was actually your opening? One day you'll see, all these talks, all this awareness, all this search for meaning is actually a very elegant cosmic joke. Not a cruel joke, a gentle one. Imagine a being on a tiny blue dot in an endless universe, playing a role that lasts a few decades, and taking that role very seriously. That's where God chuckles quietly. And if you listen closely, you'll hear that laughter echoing in your own heart. Maybe enlightenment is just the universe laughing at itself. One day, standing on your own stage, you'll say, "Was that all?" And the answer will come like the sound of wind. Yes, but you noticed it. That's when the curtain falls. But the story doesn't end, because now the play is in your hands. You are the actor who knows they're acting. And once you know that, you can play any way you like. Maybe you're still a boss, a parent, a teacher, a traveler, but now something is different. You chose this role, and the moment you choose, you're free. Freedom is not going somewhere else. It's seeing clearly where you're playing. The one day, someone will ask you, "How can you be this peaceful?" You'll smile calmly because you know that nothing is really under your control, and still, everything unfolds perfectly. Yes, you wrote your script, but you dipped the pen in the breath of the universe, and in that breath there is you and everything else. If something is stirring in you as you read this, that vibration is the sound of awakening. Don't stop. The next step is to start writing your own story. If this text resonates with you, take it as a sign. Today, do one small thing. Make someone smile for no reason. Say thank you and really mean it. Or just look up at the sky and whisper, "Okay, I see it." And now, the cosmic finale. As I write these words, I'm playing the role of wise teacher. As you read them, you're playing the role of student who wants to wake up. But we both know these are just roles. The real I is speaking inside you, and the real you is echoing inside me. So let's whisper together. The play goes on, but this time, with a difference. Now you know it's a play. Now you see the costume. Now you know whose laughter you really hear. Maybe God's laughter was your own all along. If these words awoke something in you, a peace, a silence, a small smile, share it. Send a line to a friend. Read one sentence out loud, or simply hold it in your heart. That too is a way of sharing. And remember, this is only the beginning. The next act is about to start. Same stage, new roles. But this time you won't just be the audience. You'll be the one who designs the game. Are you ready? The play is starting again. But now you're fully aware.